Hello again, and today's video is about Satan. Satan was definitely a major issue in Islamic theology, and his problem was not really that simple. His problem was he was asked to prostrate himself to someone else other than God. And Satan, of course, refused. Uh, it was definitely a good question for Sufi. Some of them considered Satan the most honest, true monotheist ever. He decided never to prostrate to anybody else but God, which is actually what God said many times. I mean, there where we have verses in the Quran that where God says that I forgive everything except sharing with me another God. God in Arabic, لا يغفر أن يشرك به. Nobody can play with that. So it was kind of a dilemma that was Satan's problem. So God asked him to bow or prostrate to somebody other than God, and the question was seriously a problem. Now, what did Satan do? And then what did Sufi think? So, today I'm going to try to approach it from Al Niffari's standpoint. I'm not really discussing anything else because Al Hallaj also managed a little bit to address it, and for Hallaj, definitely Satan was not a bad guy. He was really a true monotheist. Uh, for Al Nifari, though, he never mentioned Satan directly, nor the uh, uh, um, uh, problem of not prostrating, etc. So Al Nifari did not go there. He was not mentioning name or giving names about any thing related to this issue, but he addressed it obliquely, basically by uh, thinking of the problem in a different way. So now we are gonna try together to think about it also in a different way and understand why Al-Nafari addressed it in a different way. For Al-Nafari, the problem uh, was not related to the shaitan, because the shaitan actually, or iblis, is not even mentioned in Al-Nafari's work. So we know for a fact we are not dealing with the person directly or namely, but we know we are dealing with the person how. The problem with Satan is this: God ordered him or commanded him to do something that is contrary to what God wants from people. Here's the issue: what do you do in that case? We have, like, from the jurisprudence or fiqh of Islam, we have few kind of something similar. It says that you should obey your parents no matter what they tell you, except if they ask you not to follow God's rule or to do something contrary to what God asked you. So there was some kind of limit. It's not, exactly the same situation, but there is some kind of limit. Uh, God, when it came to the issue of listening to your parents, drew a line. He said, yes, you can and you should listen to them, to everything, except if they ask you, for example, to worship another God but Allah. So we understand here there is a limit. Now the same thing happens to Satan. Satan was created like any other angels, and we will see that later. And then he was ordered to prostrate to Adam because whatever. the reason it doesn't matter, Satan said no. So what we have in the Quran, Aba wastakbara. He refused, and then he acted with pride. I don't really like the translation of pride. I think uh, somehow we can use stakbara from kabir, big. So he thought he was better or bigger or better, basically. So it's an issue with betterment related here to Satan. And indeed, we have an explanation. So it says literally that Satan, when he was asked why he didn't listen, why didn't he obey the order from God, he said, I'm better than him. You created me from fire, you created him from mud, clay, something like that. And of course, fire is better. And we remember here the main kind of constituents of the word fire was at a higher level. So when we say that there is fire here, fire is way on top. So Satan could say literally he was better than Adam. He was made of a better kind of ingredients. And the ingredients, or something he was formed with, is fire. Adam was made of clay. There is no comparison here. Okay, now we will continue here. Satan here not only declined or rejected God's commandment to prostrate, he gave a reason. And the reason is he is better. When I use the word reason, that's rational, that's an argument. That means somebody was thinking, putting an argument together and defending it and saying, here the reason. Now, it's like a soldier or a military in general. We do not expect him to think about orders. If you receive an order from your superior, you obey. If you have any issue, you can leave it for later, but your first task is to obey. I don't know, suppose a soldier receives an order to kill his own superior. What is the line there? Where do you stop? How do you address this issue? Do you go really kill your superior himself, the one who gave you the order? Let's say he tells you, okay, I order you to kill me. The soldier will think, should I follow the order or not? No, not following the order, meaning you really, that's it. You are not really worthy of this position. But following the order means you kill and the life of your superior. So this is the dilemma. Satan was asked that. What was his problem? For a Sufi, what they think is that, remember, for a Sufi, heaven and hell are not really the end of this game. What they want to achieve is some kind of annihilation or extinction before God, which we call fana. Except for some of the Persian and other Sufi who talk about love, etc. But in general, the Middle Eastern approach to Sufis' highest maximum thing that they can achieve is an extension, which is you and yourself as a person within God. I discussed this issue in another video, but it's always a good question. Who is gonna stay there? When you annihilate yourself within God, what do we have at the end? God or you? For Al-Hallaj and Bazid al-Bastami, also it was clear, it's you. You are becoming the highest, the main. For other, no. God will be. And God makes also a lot of sense in terms of the way the history was presented, when the story was presented to us. So how was it presented to us? God breathed life in Adam. Now, we know that God is everywhere and everything, so God cannot breathe outside of himself. There is no way. He's everywhere. So if he breathed life, he breathed within himself. In other words, the man he created, which is Adam, he is within God. He is God. Now, another issue here, which is a theological issue, any drop from God is the full God, because if we say that one drop, one piece from God makes a separation, that means if you remove that piece, God will be missing a piece. Listen, I'm talking here theologically, so it doesn't have to make a lot of sense. You need to think about it. If any piece from God, when it leaves God, leaves a space empty, that means God needs that piece. He's in need of that piece, which puts God in a very awkward position. He needs his own piece. In reality, the way we understand in Islam, the whole thing is that every drop, every piece of God is the whole God. Nothing really leaves him. Okay? So, here if he breathed life in Adam, so Adam is God, which is you, me, and everybody else. Now, again, I go back to the same main story. So, we have here Al Niffari, who is not discussing this directly, but he's addressing something separate. And something separate is related to how we deal with orders or commands coming from God. And it is, of course, a good question. So let's say if God orders you to do this or that, what do you do? It is it's really as serious as far as it means that God has the command that it gives you or he gives you, you need to manage it. So we have موقف الأمر, the station of command, and it says literally, I'm reading here on the side, it says, if I order you, do not use your brain. No. Niffari here is not talking about Satan. He's talking in general. But he said, if I order you to do something, do it. Do not use your brain to discuss it or make a rational decision what is the best way to deal with this. And also, do not use your heart. And Niffari is clear here. So if it was the case of Satan, it's simple. Satan literally should not have used a rational reason to explain why he didn't bow or prostrate to Adam. It was clear. You do not think when I give you orders or commands. And it's of course understandable that here Niffari is telling us that when we receive a command, we don't think about it. In other words, Satan, when he received the command from God, he should not have thought about it, which is a little bit odd, because on other cases, God himself tells us that you need to think actually when you receive commands. because that's how you tell whether the command contradicts God's general law of worship. How would you know that an order X, Y, or Z contradicts God's general command of only worship Him? You need to use your brain somehow to make that decision. So here, really, it's a problem. So Satan really wasn't that bad after all. He made a small, serious decision. Okay. Now, again, in the story, we have two different, the same story actually of Adam and Eve and Satan, etc. We have Adam making a mistake and God forgive him. God forgave Adam. He didn't forgive Satan. Why? In terms of fairness, he should have forgiven both of them. He forgave Adam. Actually, Eve is not even mentioned as a culprit here. She's not. It's only about Adam and God and not listening. Okay, fine. Adam didn't listen to God and still God forgave him. Satan didn't listen to God when he ordered him to, and God here didn't forgive him. So yeah, the conundrum or the problem here with Satan is serious. What does one do when your superior gives you an order that contradicts something major, important in his life or in your life? What do you do? Now, here we go to the next point, which is really, so the argument of Satan was that he was created from fire and Adam was created from mud. Now, a good question here, the situation or a position of fire in the whole universe. Where is it? So let me go to here to the a very interesting thing that Al Niffari raises, which is, I find it really unusual myself, where he says in the station, sorry guys, I am the fire of the whole universe or the whole phenomenal existence. And then he says, so stair, which is the situation, the highest situation, position according to Al-Niffari, is the position of the stair, and in the position of the stair, it looks like the highest situation is to be the fire of the whole phenomenal existence. I don't know, here Arbery translates al-kawn as the phenomenal existence. Could be also the universe, I think, but in any case. So this is one issue here that is addressed. When we mention fire, in Islam we mention two things. Fire as fire, which was how Satan was created. But we use also the same word, fire, to refer to hell. So it is quite, I know from the context we understand what it means, but still using the same term for two different things. Now we have a higher components component, which is fire, and then a bad component that is hell, and both using the same word. So Al Niffari is here playing with two words. Uh, there is a good situation here where he says in موقف لا تفارق اسمي, this is staying of never leave my name, where he says when he reaches certain level both heaven and hell disappear, and hell here is referred to as an-nar, fire. Now here hell or fire becomes something transient and it will be gone, disappear at certain point. While in the other one, when he takes sorry, the other one is when he says الواقف نار الكون. The stair is the fire of the whole universe. Here we fire becomes a very positive thing. In fact, it becomes something that we would like to achieve or to reach. So it's no longer something that needs to disappear by the end because it doesn't matter anymore, but it becomes something extremely important and the level that only stairs can achieve. So here we are really وقال لي so this is the station of الوقفة, the station of staying, where he says literally الوقفة نار الكون. The staying is the fire of the phenomenal existence per Arbery, and والمعرفة, knowledge or gnosis, depending on how we look at it, نور الكون. So who was made up of nur or light? Angels. Who was made up of fire? Satan. Now, the highest situation here, or the highest position, is the position of the stair, and the stair is made like Satan. Some people will say this is all esoteric. It is possible. But then when we can say things are esoteric, also we can say that Al Niffari also uses some incoherences sometimes in his that I think he's following a rhyme. He wants to make things sound reasonable to him. So if we go that way, that road, many things we can question about Al Niffari or any Sufi when they are talking. What is esoteric? What is real? What are they saying exactly? So I'm taking it as is, as they presented us. Now, the last part of this video is related, so we should not use reason when we obey command, or even when we listen to God. We should not use reason or emotion. Heart also is... So what should we use in this case? Al Niffari, of course, created this. He's not, I mean, Muhyiddin al-Arabi mentioned the position of the stair separately, but in general, al-waqfa, the staying, is the highest position. some statement made by Al Niffari made it sound like it's not very clear to him what it means. But in general, let's say it's a positive, good situation. What is it? Al-Waqfa. What is the staying? We have not, he was using again an apophatic kind of theology. He doesn't say literally what is the staying, but he tells us quite often what is not staying, or literally to other level that he dismisses in order to tell us by the end that our highest level is the stair. So what are the other two? Knowledge and gnosis. So he tell us that knowledge, al-arifu ya'rif. So the knower will get information. The Gnostic will feel some truth. The stayer is the truth. So, knowledge, we understand from knowledge we are talking about a rational kind of approach to things. No. The Gnostic is also somebody who is not exactly a knower, but he is someone who follow this deep thing in order to achieve a certain wisdom. And also that's to dismiss. And then we end up with the highest, best level, which is the stayer. And as I said earlier, the stayer is Nar al-Kawn, the fire of the universe. Do we understand from this that despite the fact that Al Niffari, he disagreed, of course, with Satan not obeying God's commands, but he still thinks that Satan is higher or a higher position, since he associates the state of the stair with fire, same state where or how Satan is made. So what I'm trying to say here at the end of this video, so despite the fact that Al-Niffari condemns Satan's decision not to obey God's command, he really believes he was made of a higher component than Adam, making us, if you want your stair to achieve that state, to become Narul Kawn, the fire of the universe, Satan here is not in a bad position, and we might join Al-Hallaj, especially in saying directly or indirectly that Satan was a true monotheist, somebody who listened to God, somebody who will never disobey God's order of only worshipping Him. Thank you.